Hey everyone, welcome to this AMP session. We're delighted to have you join us today, whether you're here live with us or you're watching the replay. These sessions are designed, give us an opportunity to chat to people that are in our industry, that are in the EXP family environment, who are doing things that are interesting, that are doing things that are innovative, or that are just doing things well. So that's why I've reached out to Ann Smith today. So, Ann, welcome to AMP.
Good morning. How you doing?
Doing really good. So we're just going to pretend Ann and I are going to have a cup of coffee together and we're going to chat and you all can just listen in and learn from Ann. And tell us a little bit, how long have you been in real estate?
Yeah, so 14 years. Yeah, doing it
Yep,
14 years. Yeah.
yep.
Came over from Scotland about 17 years ago. Background in childcare, ran small daycare centres. And when I came here, I was homesick. Missed the chat, the interaction, wanted to go back to Scotland. Went into a real estate agent just to inquire about a block of land. I got talking to a lady there and I went and did my course and my registration first of all. And and it was really initially, yes, obviously I wanted some kind of income coming in, but it was mainly about connecting with people. And I wanted to do what I do best, and that's chat, but not normally on a Zoom, but yeah.
That's so good. And just tell for those that don't know, so you had daycare businesses back in Scotland, but you grew up in a family business environment, did you not?
Yeah, my dad had always been self-employed, was always thinking of new ways to make money, and we always got involved in it, you
Some
know.
of them were legal.
Yes, I'm yes. In Glasgow, there's what's legal in Glasgow is not always legal in the rest of the world.
That's so good. So good. So take us back to, for those of you that don't know, Ann and I have worked in the same area for quite some time, first as competitors, and then we worked together at another agency. Then I made the move to EXP and went to another office for a while. Then, then we kept chatting away, and eventually I said to her, I'm not going to talk to you anymore unless you come to EXP. So then she came.
Yeah, my experience at that agency after having worked um, with Rob, EXP really wasn't in my kind of thoughts at that point. Being very much thinking, oh, I need the office and all that. I went to this other office with absolutely no licensee support. So I was on the phone to Rob nearly every day. What about this contract? Or what can I put there? And although he was great for a few months, he's like that. No, this isn't going to work. Get your butt over here.
That's good. And so, and you have some great skills that you probably might not even be aware of, but your ability to connect with people, um, and almost generate an instant sense of reliability, authenticity. I can remember having chats about that word authenticity with you early days in us working together. What
Before
is
it was
that?
trendy to be authentic.
Before it
Everybody's
was,
authentic now.
yeah, that's right. But before it was trendy. What do you put that down to? How do you feel that you have that ability, or have you just always had that ability?
um, I think there is just that genuine love of people. All my family are all a bit crazy. They're all different, you know. Love them all, but they're all different. And just people in my life have, yeah. So I do really enjoy that interaction, and I really enjoy people. So when I thought about doing real estate, it was initially because I wanted to be connecting with people. It wasn't really about the deal, although obviously in the
That's
background
changed
of my
now.
upbringing, obviously in the background, you always think, you know, you want to make money. Yeah, so you're not saying you're an angel and you want to be out there just making the world a lovely place, because we all need money. So yeah, so I would say that initially it was because the desire to be around people, and yeah, not necessarily about their properties or anything like that. It was just, yeah, enjoying people's company, where they were going in life. And yeah, I've bought a few houses, I've built a couple of them. Nothing big, just the way your kind of mum and dad would want to do. I've kind of been a bit gutsy and I've moved from Scotland to Australia with family, so there's a wee bit of that, you know, take a punt, you know, give it a go. What have you got to lose? So
yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that your ability to just naturally connect with people comes through when you're chatting to people. I want to go back and just talk to you a little bit about that initial transition when we were working together, then you went to another location, and then you came to EXP. What were some of your fears when you first came to EXP?
Well, first of all, all my fears have turned out to be all the things I didn't like about an office anyway. So the office, you know, environment, sometimes, you know, very sales, you know, very much, you know, how much commission did you get? How much vendor paid? You know, there was always a competition for who was the best and who was the right. And although you always think, I don't care what other people are doing, when you work in an environment when it is very much like that, it did affect, it took me, when I worked in the office environment, it takes you out of being who you are yourself, and you try to, you know, as they say, fake it till you make it, which I know that you've got to have the kind of structure to give you the skills to learn you to do it, to teach you to do it, but just, yeah, the things that, here you go. There I go on a tangent. Everybody's heard of Billy Connolly. That's how he made his money. He starts on one subject and goes on to another.
Yeah.
But what didn't I like about it? I didn't like the competitiveness between your colleagues. You know, I didn't love that. And EXP, you're on your own, but you're together on your own. You've got support, but you're allowed to be who you want to be without feeling that you're getting judged, which I love.
Yeah, no, that's really good. And when you came, I know initially you had some fears around not getting stock, not getting business.
Yeah, of course. And then when you work in an office environment, because everybody's talking about real estate and listings all the time, sometimes you're in a false bubble that you think that you're going to be getting the business that they're all talking about, or which we know in reality it doesn't happen. It is all about you. Yeah, you get the odd rental here, you know, here and there, but really in real estate it is all about you, you know, you and your connections and you and your what you've done. So yeah.
I want to just highlight for those that don't know you, Anne sells between, on a really bad year, she might sell 25. On a good year, she might sell 45, 50. So it depends on what's happening in the market and whatnot. I want to go back to you and I had a conversation about getting in front of people not long after you came, maybe 5, 6 months after you came, where we told this story often, but where I gave you a really expensive $2 notebook. And we said, let's go through your phone and let's make a list of the people that you actually like to do business with. This was no data dump. This was no get your database from another company and download it, put it into Agent Box. Just talk us through that process.
Yeah, so I think when you're not really into social media, I have never really been into it, I have tried a few times to get there, much to my son's dismay. Mum, stop posting, don't embarrass me, you know, all the kind of things.
Yeah. Just stop what you're doing. Please
Yeah.
don't touch another button.
To say I really don't get social media, and I don't really want to be that, it sounds bizarre, but a public, I don't want to be like strangers to know about me, really.
Yeah.
But I know that it's something that, you know, I mean, if I was starting out and I was younger, obviously that it's, as they say, it's a no-brainer. You would be making it part of your, so I'm not saying to anybody that they shouldn't do it. But where I am at my stage in my life, the people that I have met in the past now, I think Rob was very good at pointing out to me, like he says some nice things about me, how I can connect and all that. You don't realize that you have that ability because we've all got it. We've all got people, we've all got friends, we've all got that connection. Maybe not with all the same type of people, but we all have them with our own, in our own circles. So when Rob kind of pointed out to me, well, just get to your phone. Who did, oh, you know, that wee lady, I'd sold 2 or 3 houses for her and her family and whatever. So you just, we really did with a pencil and it was a pretty cheap book, Rob, I have to say now. Now that I've been an Icon agent, you think you could have done a bit better.
But you weren't an Icon agent then, so you got the $2.
Oh yes, of course, yeah. I'm a bit short and listening, so you might have to give me a kick up the backside. But anyway, but yeah,
so you started to make a list of people that you liked, and then what happened?
Yeah, I just got, like, basically within a day, I was going out and doing a couple of appraisals, not necessarily classing them as appraisals, but classing them as, come round, get a cup of tea, catch up, tell us what you've been up to. So a more comfortable environment for going out to do an appraisal. One of my clients that I thought would never be selling, it was her last house, I think with the EXP, it was the first one. Oh, come round, we were just talking about you, you know, come in. And yeah, and it just took it from there. Then she's got her daughter that's thinking of selling, and before you know it, you're off and running. You've got
for people that aren't wired the same as you, Anne, tell us about what's that conversation sound like when you're doing the reach out call.
Oh, well, it's certainly nothing about their house or the selling or whatever. It's, hiya, do you remember me? And you know that mad Scottish lady that you bought a house off of, or you bought, yeah. And I had said, I'm with this new company now, you know, since COVID, I took the chance, all the offices were closing, you know, and yeah, just how he's getting on, what he's doing. You know, somebody's had a heart attack, and you know, all all the kind of catch up. And then they say to you, next time you're passing, come in, and you say, well, I'm going to be in the area maybe next week sometime. Yeah, pop by if you want. And yeah, and usually I like to take a calling card, some packet shortbread or a couple of donuts, or you know, something like that. Just pop by, have a cup of tea. And yeah, just nothing really, yeah, not mentioning, or I need.
So you're going there, you literally go just to have a chat.
Yeah.
And inevitably that chat sparks some form of business in the next 3 to 6 months. Not necessarily with those people directly, but maybe somebody they know.
Yeah. It just, yeah, it just kind of flows from then.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about, as an example, you just got a property under contract on the weekend in Beckenham.
I did, yeah.
Yeah. How did that lead come to you?
So initially, if I start from the beginning of it, a connection with a property management company who a couple of years ago I sold, so that I got the lead from them, who I met a gentleman who had another 2 properties. So a couple of years after the initial one, he contacted me directly. I sold a couple of properties for him. And then his daughter was thinking of selling, and my daughter's thinking of selling. She wanted to get and have a wee chat with her. I did. And yeah, we got it on and got it sold.
It's so funny whenever I have a chat with Anne. It's like, oh yeah, I got a call from someone I connected with a couple years ago, and they're like, you don't know me, but you know, my uncle, my dad, my cousin, whatever, told me that I should contact you about selling. Most of your business comes that way, though, doesn't it? It comes from referral.
Yeah, it does. Past clients or somebody that knows somebody like from that way. And saying that, I think, again, at my stage, I'm very happy with that kind of business. And I'm not saying that if you're starting out or you're in it and you have a desire to have, you know, greater success. So I think if you've got a good balance of that going on, and where I lack, you know, if I could do more of the
You're not doing
media.
videos, you're not doing YouTube channels, you're not doing some of that stuff. You are.
No, but I know that I'm not naive enough to know that I could be doing better if I could get the balance right. But sometimes just the way life is, I'm very satisfied and more than delighted. And moving forward, if I could sell 20 properties a year, moving into a kind of retirement phase, I'd be delighted. But you still, because the way the listings are going just now, sometimes you think, God, am I going to get my 20 this year? Because, yeah. So I have been making the odd, going back, doing the calls, doing all that. You know, when it's coming in naturally, you forget to do it.
Or you're busy or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, but
you do something that's really good that a lot of agents don't, and you do a lot around gifts.
I do.
On settlement and gifts to your referrers and your connections around holiday times. Talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I just feel that especially like even like the trades that I've dealt with, I always remember to get them a bottle. Not necessarily, I'm not thinking at the time like they're going to give me leads or things like that, but I'm thinking that I've just done a final inspection and the smoke alarms aren't working, and, you know, maybe getting to a wee bit closer to the top of their list for you know, coming out and doing a job for me. Yeah, even like the girls in the bank and things like that, dropping off, you know, a couple of bags of, you know, it doesn't have to be huge or an expensive, you know, like the fun size Mars bars, a wee bag of them when they're in special 2 for $5. You throw them in, you know, and yeah, the people at the council, yeah, they hate since COVID. Now they're doing all the plans on email, and when I phone the girls, they go, "Oh, we miss you coming in. We don't get our chocolates and our biscuits as much now." So I think you have to remember that the way life has taken us in the last few years, we do less face-to-face. And I'm very much aware that if I was starting off now, I would be meeting less people face-to-face. So I think you have to go back to every opportunity you can to make it a face-to-face. Even although, again, I'm not doing email alerts or anything like that. Nothing's going in people's box. And I know that even myself, when I'm looking at stuff, I'm impressed with the amount of, you know, email alerts I get from other agents in the area. But I think it's always better when you have had that meeting, and it just, so you should be doing the two. I should be doing the two. I should be doing the alerts, but I also don't want to take away that the alerts substitute the relationship that you can build up personally. I don't think there's, for me, because I'm not great at emails, if you know what I mean. They don't shout professionalism. They don't shout, oh, this person knows what she's doing. So although Catherine would probably tell you that you can with my Scottish accent, sometimes even face to face, you don't know what I'm saying too much. Yeah, I have to remember and slow down when I talk. But yeah, it's
you do something each Christmas time. You talked about you have a relationship with a property management company that, in this particular case, they do no sales. They only do property management.
Yeah, that's correct.
It's a brick and mortar office. And you must think they get thirsty when it comes to Christmas time. So what happens there?
Well, you take in a crate of wine and some chocolates, because obviously you have to be careful. Not everybody drinks, so a wee mixture of some chalkies, some wine. I've also got a wee local shop a couple of years ago sells tea towels, and they just happen to have black and white Scottish Terriers on them. And I've always got a dozen of them in my car. And, if I've been to an appraisal and I've connected, sometimes when I'm leaving, they like you when they walk you to the car, or maybe they don't. Maybe they're making sure you're off their premises. And when you go, and I go, oh, I don't make it a big deal. Like when I'm going in, oh, here you go. Here's, if it's went well and I feel that they're the kind of people that would enjoy a gift, I go, oh, there's a wee Scotty tea towel, so you don't forget me when you're doing your dishes tonight, and that kind of thing. I should get better. I always say my dream has always been to give away a picnic basket which had my logo and all that. But when I go to price them, the Scottish in me, they're like, yeah.
You're like, well, I could do $100 on a gift basket, but this tea towel is with a Scotty dog is much more.
It cost me $20.
Yeah. I want to just twist a little bit. So you're really good at doing the appraisals, getting the listings, really connecting to people and getting a sense of what they're hoping to accomplish with listing their property for sale. For those that are not in a booming market, what I mean by that, a real seller's market like we are in the WA at the moment, I want to just shift back a little bit to when our market wasn't like that, because we got a lot of people that are in states where the market is similar to what we experienced in those times. How were you able to harness your connections to be able to help people get to their goals despite not achieving the dollar amount that they wanted to? And I'll just ask you to go back to that conversation that you and I had when I questioned your integrity.
Yes, I don't know why I still talk to you, Rob Davis.
Just talk us through that, and then how you were able to leverage that conversation with your connections with your clients. Okay.
So probably for the first, I don't know, would it be 6 or 7 years when I had been working, the market had always, nobody was making money. Nobody was getting more money than what they paid for their property. Not unless they had maybe bought a doer-upper or something like that, but you're kind of average family. So when it wouldn't be uncommon for me to have properties listed for 6 months with no price reductions. That's if I'm totally honest, because there was always an excuse, and I had never had the real training and understood it fully myself that there is a buyer if the point's there. So I know that that may sound like you've worked in the industry for 6 years and you're very experienced. Yes, it was very experienced in meeting people and getting the listings and not losing the listings, holding on to them, pleasing them. Very much a people pleaser. They wanted X amount and I'll keep trying. So there I went, was going to work with Rob, and basically the conversation went, oh, Anne, I know you really think you're ethically and you know, you're truthful and high integrity. How do you feel about giving these people more or less false hope all these months? How do you feel about doing that? And I thought, I didn't realize that I was giving them false hope and I wasn't helping them. So yeah, I soon found out that the tough talk that I was maybe having about once I had listed a property like 6 months, I was having it much earlier in the process. I got much better at pre-framing people, finding out if they were motivated to sell, how, you know, getting them to where they wanted to be sooner, without giving them any false hopes. Yeah, but it did take a lot of training for me, to have those talks sooner. And obviously still with the same respect and warmth and care that you had when you held them for 6 months. But I want you to sell, I want to get you the best price, but the facts are, if you want to move on, we've got to take action sooner. Very much pre-framing at the beginning of a listing, which I got much better at without, I would say that it slightly in this market, it's worked differently because, and I'm sure Catherine will admit to this as well, the expectations of the sellers are so much greater that there's a few listings that they're very much challenging. I can get more for that. Now, again, going back to ethically and morally, yes, there are some houses that are going for more, but I have to tell you what the information and stats and the evidence are saying. So it's like you're given the facts and the evidence, but the expectations of people here are much greater because there's maybe 1 in every 3 or 4 houses here that are getting much more than what the evidence is saying. So going back to where when I had discovered that I was doing an injustice to sellers by giving them that false hope. So now you're saying, I really would love to get you that price, but the reality is there's a system, there's a process. If we're not getting the calls, we're not getting the inquiries, other agents don't want to conjunct with us, with all wanting in the world, it's not going to happen. So having those conversations early on became another strength, I would say, that I didn't have for the first 6 years that I started out.
But, well, what I think, you got some more knowledge, but your ability to connect with people, they never thought you were just trying to get your commission because you had that real strong connection with them. That I think is probably one of the best things that has contributed to your success, because people, we have that saying we use all the time, people do business with people they know, like, and trust. I've never met anyone that Anne has come into contact with that didn't trust her. Therefore, when the advice came, this is what you need to do, this is what the next steps are. If it was me and I was selling the house, this is what I would do, price point, advertising, whatever. They've been very quick to listen to you, even if it was an overnight, they had to think about it overnight, they'll come back now, and we thought a lot about what you said. We think we'll take that course of action, and then they get the result that they want.
I think, I do think you can't just be calling them up and speaking to them when you're looking for something from them. You can't be calling, not having any communication, and then phoning them up saying, oh, it's too expensive, we have to drop the price. So therefore, you have to be, well, if you want to be building the relationship for to be selling their families' properties in the future, it is all about, as much as you're just informing them all the time how the market's going, how many, and then just by the process. But what is my dad never always used to say to me, never be a user, you know, build the relationships, but don't be a user. So people know when you're just, I mean, I know people that speak very highly of great agents and they would probably still use them, but they just get their commission and then you deal with them. You know, they have that. And that's absolutely fine if that's the business model that you're after. You know, you sell and then you move on. That was never what I set out to do. I wanted to make a life in Australia, build a connection. You know, people thinking highly of me, make friendships, and I've done a lot of that with work colleagues and also with clients, and that was what my kind of goal was. So much more of a nice way of life. And yeah, the only thing is sometimes when you've sold a few too many referrals, they always want a better commission, and I'm really bad, so sometimes, yeah, when you start off, you can get a better rate of commission, but once you've sold 3 and 4 houses for them, you always feel as though you've got to give
They're
them
like,
a bit.
we've given you 100 grand already, Anne. Can we get a discount?
Yeah, you've got to throw something into the mix. So no,
yeah, no, that's so good. And just from an observational point of view, and why I wanted to have this chat with you today is the fact that I've watched you just leverage that skill of connection into, you've designed your own life. You know, you have worked extremely hard. You've put in a lot of time, energy, and effort into the relationships, but just physically doing the job. For those that don't know, for the most part, most of the properties Anne sells are about a 45-50 minute drive, sometimes up to an hour drive away from where she lives. But that's where her relationship pool started. And to continue to foster those relationships and to live the life that she does, it's worth it, you know.
Yeah. I would much rather go to a referral and drive 45 minutes than sit in front of somebody where I've got another 3 agents waiting to come in for their turn of doing a presentation, because I don't ever do very well at them. Yeah. I feel intimidated by some of the more successful agents, or the more, well, success in whoever measures it, but in real estate in numbers, then if it's measured on that, I don't do very well if I'm going in. And yeah, so if I can connect with the people first of all, and then they trust me enough that they're not getting another agent in, that's just, I'd rather do the drive.
That's it. That's it. Anne Smith, thank you for sharing with us on AMP today. I love these sessions because we get people, as you said, you don't do Facebook at all. You know, like your son doesn't want you to be on Facebook or whatnot. But when we very first started working together, you made reference to the Brian Tracy book, Eat the Frog.
Yeah.
And so you are extremely good at that. You are extremely good at making the calls that you might not want to make, to have those conversations that are tougher than what other people are. But I think a lot of that is based on the fact that A, you want everyone to live happy lives and to get the best out of what they can. And B, you leverage the connection that you started with them at the beginning to get them where they want to go, even if they don't know that's what they need to do to get there. So thank you very much, Anne Smith. And we'll catch you next time. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks.